Welcoming you back to crypto's juiciest news, baby dolls. BTC, 70,000 American dollars. We will be speaking about Tomley, who is now a slain bull. We will be speaking about every major crypto crash coming in the past and in the future. We will be speaking about Michael Saylor raising the yield on the Ponzi, President Trump, the Strait of Hormuz, some Nvidia, StableCoin SuperCycle, all of that coming your way and more. But first, you and I want to look at the wonderful price of oil. This is what everybody has been talking about. Everybody's been looking at it. They're sniffing it. The price of oil, Loonies, $88, hanging around here. Fun fact, if you bought oil 10 days ago, you have outperformed Ethereum for 8 years. That's true, and we will be lighting the candle as we do every single day, friends. We'll be lighting the candle. There's no ifs or buts about it. I like seeing all of this humiliation ritual stuff for everybody to hold. That's why I keep buying $10 Dollareedoonis every week. We'll be doing another buy. Send it lower. You really want to give me Ethereum for $1 Dollareedoonie? I'll buy 10 of them. Okay, so you and I, friends, are here to make it. And the price of oil is hanging around here. You got to remember as well, friends, a lot of these things, there's usually just some sort of like lower high thing that eventually appears. And maybe on that lower high, there's like an escalation of the war. Just here to prepare for you. By the way, in the Chatteroonies, we've got Mr. Hexjam Hex saying, believe in friendship. We have young Victor, who's now a mid-sized adult Victor soon, actually. We've got friend Juice coming from Kingo. We have Mr. Hub saying, I have green candle eyes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's what we're here for. Smeenem. I mean, you know, Smeenem, just to let you know, man, Smeenem was the first meme that gripped me when I came at the end of 2018. Because I was just, we're always playing, there's that song by Bizanacci, Hosanna, Hosanna. And we would always play it when we're trading. And then when Bitcoin would spike up, we would always play the Smeenem thing, man. It literally, that was the first thing that literally took over my soul in crypto, because that's when I realized this is nothing I've never seen before. Because like in markets, there's no chat rooms for bonds or trading a forex currency. There's none of that. There's nowhere to talk. But we were like so alive in crypto because it's now, you know, right? It's a real network effect. We also have Henny saying, you're catching me live. Zoom Truth, pizza has outperformed Ethereum. What type of pizza are you talking about, my friend? We've got Jared as well saying, holla. Holla, good day. Good day to you, my friend. We've got DC Wood. I'd like a bit of wood. It's dangerous to go alone. Take it. I love this, man. I love this. This is having fun here. So, oil, friends, oil, at some point, it's going to do this little lower high. The good thing is, though, we did have the mark of the century from Jim Cramer saying, I don't see a path of de-escalation, okay? It's funny just how things ping and pong around and everything. That's how the things that usually work when it comes to markets. But if you're trying to like guess, hey, what's going to be the news that flips it around? No one knows. Okay. We've got a lot of things to look at as well, friends. The Smelly Poop 500. Remember, most people believe that the Smelly Poop 500 has topped out. Okay. And the Smelly Poop 500 is going to keep rolling over. You've got Uncle Bobby as well. Okay. But this is another thing we got to look at. I'm not saying this. I'm not jinxing it. Okay. I'm not jinxing it. I'm just, this is the truth. Okay. You want to know why is it really hard to like bet on stocks going down lately in the past 10 years? It's because of the money printing factor. The long-term average of the money supply going up, it's about 4.5%. It's around that number. That's actually what gold's long-term growth rate is meant to be. Between 4.5 to 6, kind of fluctuates, right? But right now, we don't have a 4.5% yield money supply growth rate. We've actually got a 7.5, which is freaking huge. All right. And why are they doing that? To pay off the debt. Okay. Someone's paying off the debt. I'm not paying it off, right? Hey, you didn't spend money to pump my bags, daddy government. If you did, I'll pay it off. But you didn't pump my bags. So I'm not paying it off. Let everybody else pay it off. The S&P 500 gives you the money printing rate plus 2%, roughly. Okay, and you get about 10%. You actually get plus 1.5% for the yield, for the dividend yield. Okay, and it compounds over time. Nasdaq gives you the money printing plus 8%. So you get about 16. That's why Bitcoin's 5-year growth rate of only 9 is literally atrocious. I mean, I can't tell you how that's like, dude, you're risking everything for this, which is absolutely a disgrace. when you look at it. This is the Nasdaq as well, friends. Remember, all the US indices, they correlate pretty much one for one with each other. This is the the racist Russell 2000. A lot of racism here. I also want to show you the US Bondaroonies. The ZN, friends, hanging around here, okay? It's calm. It's rejected the 4% yield part. Remember, as it goes up, the yield goes down. It's still hanging around here. I still think there's going to be a shock rally somewhere. It's just you just know how these things operate, right? How do we embarrass the most number of people? Okay, we have the entire crypto landscape selling Bitcoin, selling altcoins. They went and bought gold and silver because they're betting on the end of the system. Okay, well, you know what would be really funny? If US bonds rally, which that's why it blows your mind, because the US government mints the bonds and they just dump on everybody. That's how they collect income. All right. That's why, actually, friends, if the US bonds, if they go down, see, it's funny, no one's actually thinking about this as well. If they go down enough, the US Fed will come in and they'll say, you know what, we actually got to cut rates, we've got to do this, we've got to do that. That's straight away. Straight away. That actually impacts everything. Once you have a crisis of the bonds, you can't actually undo them. That's why, friends, it's very important for the Coconut Intelligence Agency, which is obviously American Intel. It's very important for them to have ears and spies everywhere, just in case someone in America or Middle East does the Gaddafi or the Saddam Hussein, where they think about making a currency and they use another US Dollareedoonis equivalent. If they use euro, like, you know, friends, Libya, right? Gaddafi, he didn't even want to make his own currency. Okay, he just had meetings and he says, hey, let's trade gold with euro currency. That's wild. He didn't even want to make his own currency. That's crazy, man. He just wanted the countries go, hey, in our cute little network, right, we'll hold euros. So everybody's holding and hoarding euros. So they're in another banking system. Because he was basically thinking of the future. He goes, you know what, if America just disabled stuff, we can't actually buy gold or oil anymore. Right? He didn't need oil because they make oil. They got a lot of oil in Libya, right? But he was doing it for gold. That's crazy. He just wanted to have accounts of the gold-euro pair. And that's it. And they literally took him out. That's how critical it is when it comes to the US government maintaining power or any world reserve currency, because it's all backed by the network. It's all backed by freeze, Jeets! Pants back up. You're not using any other currency. That's what it comes down to, friends. If you start even hinting about it, you're a dead man. And/woman and/squirrel. So this is the US bonds ticky down, which is interesting. We also had the Kippy, friends. The US Kippy came out and it was actually still cool. This is the US Dollareedoonis, the DXY, hanging around here. And I was showing you as well, friends, we've got Goldaroonies still hanging. Gold, right? It seems to be this was the lower high part. Remember I told you everything always comes back for the lower high, and this is right on the blood moon. This is right on the Ayatollah. Remember, friends, when I was at the farm, you know, I couldn't sleep. I was like, oh, what did I eat? I didn't eat anything. I did not eat doom. And then they killed the Ayatollah. And it was on the blood moon. I was like, damn, that stupid precognition thing happened again. Oh my gosh. You know what's funny, friends? I was telling my friend last night at dinner. I was telling my friend Andy. I was telling him about this stuff. He goes, man, that's really weird. He goes, you have all these events. I go, yeah, it's literally, we talk about on the YouTubes all the time. I tell everyone, I go, look, I couldn't sleep. And then this thing literally just pisses me off. But you know what's crazy? The first thing he says, he goes, do you have any like of the good white swan dreams? I'm like, you know what? Now you're making me really depressed. No. It's always a bad thing about to happen. Like, where's the good one, man? Dude, it's been 7 freaking flips now. Oh, well. This is gold, friends. Gold doing the stalling out here right on the Iran war. Right here. And everyone thinks just getting started. But what we know from markets and cycles and everything, we're like, look, man, I know it's really wild, but like the people who were buying gold for the past 2 years, they've actually priced this war in. And now you think everything's just getting started, but actually that's what happens in the past. That's why, friends, you look at the news, you just lose by default. Because your brain can't comprehend, wait a minute, but I just saw the tanks, but I just saw the oil fields, but I just saw this. I know. That's why it's really hard. That's how everyone gets trapped. How do you think all of like JP Mosquito and Goldman Slugs' clients get trapped? Because they have like, you know, $500 million positions, $1.2 billion position here and there. They get trapped too. How do you think they get trapped? That's how they get trapped, right? This is Silver, friends, as well. Silver, same chart, lower high. Hopefully it comes around. The Vixaroonies, friends. This is the Vixaroonies. Remember the Vixaroonies almost hit 40, hit about 35. Now it's back stabilized around 24. We will see if it's got another leg later on. Remember the VIX means the S&P 500 is a good historical dip buy. This is the thing, friends. When the VIX goes down this much, it actually means the bottom's in. I think that I don't have the specific. I don't have the don't wave your lollipop at me, okay? But I don't have the specific stats. You have to listen to like these stock market channels like Compound and Chambly. You got to listen to them, and then they know like, oh, when the VIX drops 20 points from its extreme, the S&P 500 goes up, you know, 98% of the time in the next 6 months. They have stats like that. I don't know what the exact number is, but there is one. It's like when the VIX, you know, when it drops, you know, how much did it drop here? I don't know, like 14 points. Maybe it's 10 points. I don't know. When the VIX drops 10 points from the extreme thing, that means the bottom's in, you know, or it closes the week, whatever. They know these. Okay, so you can see a lot of these things up here. So yeah, that's the Vixaroonies as well. That's a downside insurance. We've got quite a bit to go through today, friends. We're having a lot of fun. Remember, we did have the US Kippy that comes out. Oh, crap. Oh, crap. The US 2-year Fed rate change. It's now pricing in a hike. Oh, no. Let's play some Pumpy G music. We're going to need it. Well, well, well. Who would have thought? Some say thunk. Let me know, friends. Are you a thunk person? Man, we're pricing in hikes? Excuse me. See, friends, no rate change for the 2-year yield spread in the next 2 years, and now it's above zero. No change. This is one hike fully in. We're starting to price in. Oh my gosh. Basically, the market yield curve is saying in the next 2 years, there's higher odds of a hike than a cut. You know, friends, look, it could be possible. It could. And let me tell you why. Back in the, let me show you the Nasdaq. Okay, let's go back to the Nasdaq. Back in the 1999 tech bubble, which we have right here, friends, the 1999 tech bubble, right? The US Fed, what we can actually do, friends, we can actually add it here so you can actually see the US IRR if it doesn't take 15 years to load. Okay, US right here, or let's say Fed funds rate. You'll be able to see that they started hiking and it was too late. Okay, so you can actually see it here. See the US, this is the US interest rate. Okay, what I'll actually do is we'll keep it family friendly, but I want it to be a nice deep red. It's taken a while. There we go. We'll do a nice deep red here. There you go. Do you see how? Look what happened here. Look what happened. The US Fed, friends, first they cut. Man, this is crazy. See how they cut rates? The Nasdaq went up. And then it looked like it was rolling over, just like we have now. It looks like, oh, it's going to roll over. And then look what ends up happening. The economy actually accelerates, right? And we have hikes. They actually raised rates from 5.2% up to 6.5%. That's wild, man. So 5.25% up to 6.5%. And then actually everything tumbled and it was pretty much game over. But you had this final blow off, this melt up. Okay, this melting up, man, that's wild. If you actually, oh man, that's crazy. The Benno cycle, I think, said 1999 was the seller's year, but then happened in like 2000 as well. So the Benno cycle was about a year early. Our Benno cycle says to sell everything 2026. I'm wondering if it's a year early again. Remember, this is, friends, this is the only fractal everyone only talks about because of AI now. We have AI and this was the internet. Okay, that was the internet tech bubble. And then we had the big crash-a-roonies. We had the 2000+1 Jenga Tower stuff out here. So that is what everybody's pretty much thinking about when it comes to like right now. That's why if I come back and I show you, all right, everyone's wondering, look, everyone thinks, okay, we're definitely rolling over. But like if there is a melt up, you get to see that, right? Remember, that's why we're looking at the PMI and other these things going to go hardcore in the manufacturing. That's why I'm looking at, that's why I just showed you the 2-year rate spread. They go, well, there's more of a chance of a hike. Why is that? Why do you think that is? Well, I know this is wild. The market is just telling us the war's priced in. Which you're like, no, but stocks aren't down 30%. I know, man. I know it's hard. It's just, it's saying that the war's pricing. It's actually saying that oil is going up because the economy is about to get inflationary. That's what it's saying. That's why, you can't reason with people about this. You go, no, war, oil's going up because of the war. I saw it happen. I know, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. You go back to zombie virus, it was the same thing. But what was the best thing to do back in the zombie virus? Buy some Doge. Buy the useless dog coin. Now, friends, actually what we'll do is, what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to start, we'll have a look at just where we are now. We know where we are, okay? This is the green monthly candle for March, right? And this is, if we had 5 red monthly candles, this is BTC. What I now want to do, I'm just going to quickly, we're going to go through some blockchain backer chart corn, okay? Which I'm going to show it to you now, okay? Some chart corn right here, friends. So this is potentially where we are, still here, all right? This is the fractal of Bitcoin. This is where we're hanging around here. Don't know if there's another leg lower. These are some stock standard stuff. We've seen them before. The RSIs are low. Yeah, whoop-de-doo. You know, RSIs don't tell you everything, though. This is the XRP chart. So, like I said, we don't know if we get a stab down a Rooney or a retracement up and then a down a Rooney. We don't know. Okay, that is the XRP chart. Man, it's kind of funny just how it all played out, fans. Like the guy, it's just funny. He calls for an XRP $10 and everyone buys here. And then right here he goes, actually, well, you're screwed. Goodbye. And then everyone's like deer in the headlights and then it goes down. Man, that's what they do, fans. It's just how the game works, right? They get like really, really loud. And they say, I still remember saying 100% chance XRP hits $8 to $10. They literally said 100% chance. They go, look, I can show you this massive macro triangle fib over this period of time. And it always resolves by hitting the highest Fibonacci. And if you look at the market cap chart of XRP, it's about $9 to $10 around there. Okay, man, like, you know, that's why I was like saying, dude, that's a 500 billion market cap for XRP. You got a 100% chance for that. Sells it at $2.90. Now it goes back to $1. You know what I mean? Like you see it time and time again, fans. This is the type of stuff that you got to navigate. It's really hard because what you actually find, fans, I've got more content coming for you later. When you're watching someone, hopefully they have the clothes on, okay? You got to remember, friends, you have to start identifying people. This is what I have to do now, okay? Do they have a good talent to gloat and brag about their win? Do they have a good talent? And this is how you have to do it. It's very hard. You've got to look at yourself as you're observing them. It's very tough. That's why esoteric friendship here. I'm here 18 hours a day, friends. If you're here for 30 minutes, I'm here providing high value content here for you. I'm doing the homework here for you. But if you ever catch yourself watching, just think about that. You go, am I convinced this person knows what they're talking about? Because now what I've actually found is you got to invert it. Oh, they do sound it. They know what they're talking about. But actually what ends up occurring is, no, they're actually really good at sounding confident. Yeah, but it's not just I am confident. No. Everyone's got their own way. Like, oh, I'm sounding confident. You know what I mean? Like, I know what's going on. This is the price of oil as well, friends. This is oil Rooney's doing a massive spike back to the Joe Biden levels. And obviously famous to about the 3 people who are still here in crypto. I made a tweet right up here. It's still up there. Jim Cramer called for oil to go to 160 or 180. Okay, right up there. And I said, thank God, the bear market's over and the oil top is in. And what do you know? 4 years later, down only. It's funny. Right here, I'll never forget that. That was oil doing, oh man, it's crazy, friends. I'm telling you, that 2022 year, Jim Cramer. Do you know, friends, the last, oh man, that breaks my heart as well. I just want to show you as well. We'll get the Bitcoin and Ethereum. We'll look at the Ethereum CME chart. Did you know, friends, right here, you see when Ethereum was 3,400, like right here, see here, 3,500. You know, Jim Cramer, he said Ethereum is going to have a fast 40% move up. So that was to 4,800. He said 40% up was happening. Instead, we literally went 40% down in a straight line, down to 1,000. Actually went worse. So that was he actually went on his show. That was the curse. Yeah, literally, on his show, he went like, yeah, I expect Ethereum to do a fast 40% move up. And I tweeted it and I'm like, oh no, that probably means we're going to do a fast 40% move down. Before anybody could blink, everything was just collapsing, man. And that coincided with a blood moon as well. That was right before the month of... I don't know, man, friends. I came into crypto to... I don't know what we came for. To be rich, green candles, make friends along the way. You just become an expert astrologist. I start learning about Saturn and these low vibrational scum worship and Kronos, god of time and devouring children and pizza and islands. What's going on here? This is a far cry, dude. Where's the green candle part? It's kind of like, friends, when XRP guys and even everyone in Pulse Chain, well, we have to start wrestling against the SEC. And you're like, no, I don't want to read this. No, please. No. Anything but these legal documents, please. Oh, man, quite the journey we've been on. Friends, this is interesting, and I'll cover it again shortly, but I want to remind you how wrong 90% of crypto influencers were, and stock influencers too. They all said, when rate cuts happen, we're going to crash. They all said that in 2024. Do you remember, friends? I remember in 2024, you're watching Ben Copen videos. Crypto Banter has segments. Heaps of influencers were saying economy is going to a recession because they're cutting rates. Rate cuts are bearish. Goodbye. Bitcoin was about, friends, here, 55K. 55K. Do you see that? Right here on this intersection. Bitcoin was 55K. They started cutting rates. And then we literally rise. Okay, so it just, look, man, we hate to say it, but yeah, friends, this time is different. There's some weird stuff happening. There's big rotational tops. The excessive money printing, instead of 4.5, remember the money supply now grows at 7.5. The excessive money printing, and then you have just a lot of stuff being thrown out here, friends. You got the old system dying, so they got to move into the new system. They're doing CBDCs. So it's like this song and dance between, they're trying to print as fast as they can so they can rob the treasury because they're going to move to the new system anyway. It's just you and I don't know exactly when or exactly how it's going to play out. But that's what they're doing effectively. That's why they're just printing a crap load of money. They go, oh, you're going to pay off the debt. And then when we hit a breaking point, we just go to a new system. That's what it is, right? So you pay off the debt by holding the US dollars. The insider deep state scum, they are purchasing all assets, like Howard Lutnick buying Ethereum, hopefully. Crypto's part of that. Right, and then when the new system comes, they're just going to Fugazi everything all over again. What's going to be a fake alien invasion? I don't know, but that's how they move in. And Trump seems to be, friends, the wrecking ball. Trump is to come in and be like, the old system sucks. Let's go do this. So, that's why we're here. We've known this for many, many, many years as well. But also, I want to tell you, gold people and silver dudes, they knew about this in 2013, but they had to sit through QE2, QE3, QE4, and then finally. It's funny, zombie virus did infinite QE 2020 and 2021, and gold still didn't break the all-time high. But now, finally, they were able to run. And you know what I should do, friends? Actually, I'll just show you that chart. I think it's very important for everyone in crypto to understand this perspective. Gold people, let's actually put on a monthly chart. Okay, friends, gold people, gold bugs, okay? They watched, you got to look at this, okay? They watched right here. You had the QE 1, 2, 3, QE 1, 2, 3, and then you had QE infinity. And look, gold was still barely moving. You see that? And then finally, it rocketed up, right? Finally, it rocketed up. See that? So look at their thesis all played out, though. You think? Their thesis all played out. I think, friends, I made a members and a Spoony Wielders video, which eventually it'll all get released free, right? So it's just early access. But you get to see, I think you have to have an appreciation for, like, their whole thesis played out. It just took forever. But now actually what's happening is, why did gold go up? So people still think gold's going up because of the QE. Now you can see, friends, look at the blood moons. Gold actually went up because it was pricing in the Iran war. Do you see how tough it is? Imagine going and convincing a gold bug. Guess what? Congratulations, you're holding gold. You participated in the preemptive gold rally for the Iran war. And now you are stalling out on it, which means the Iran war's over. There is a 0% chance anybody holding gold would ever agree with you. They'll be like, no, you don't get it. The system's breaking. They'll all say that. That's why it's hard, friends. That's why this rotational game is literally impossible. That's why you just got to DCA buy. You can diversify after you're rich, right? You got to concentrate before you're rich to try to get rich. And you just keep going, you know what? I don't know what the hell's going on. That's actually the people who make it through the most. We also have now, friends, we have more Dollareedoonis. This is Bitcoin. You can actually see now it's a 3-day chart on the RSI on the bottom as well. You just see everything looks cheap. This is the 5-day chart now. See, even the 5-day dipped below this 30 or 25 number. It's all the same shit. You know what I mean? Friends, we know. Well, have you heard a single person who hasn't said Bitcoin's cheap? Nope. Everyone's saying, yeah, it's cheap. Just don't know. Is it stopping here or at 50K or 30K? Is it done? So that's what we just, you know, we're trying to wrestle with. There's also, friends, some stocks of reversing back. So this is interesting, right? For stablecoin SuperCycle, especially Pulse Chain, PTSD, everything else out here. Circle is one of the leaders out of the bear market. And look at Circle's chart pattern. It's literally up. Boom. Up only. It might stall out here, but yeah, it just went up only. Boom. This is a log chart, by the way. So, you know, its top was 290. It's back to 120. So this is Circle. Remember, Circle, the stablecoin company, partnered with Coinbase. They mint the USDC. Isn't that interesting? Not a coincidence. Not a coincidence. That Circle, a stablecoin company, is one of the first revitalizing moves out. This, friends, is also the Racist Russell 2000, showing a back test as well. So I like looking at just different color schemes of the charts. This is the software index everyone's waiting for. The software index, we don't know, right? Is there one more leg lower and then up only for the software? Or is it going to like just screw around? Everyone thinks it's in and whatever. But obviously, crypto correlates with software. It just seems like, friends, have you noticed, like every 6 months, we correlate with something new and the correlation's always to the downside? When are we going to get some friendship, man? Let's play some Asian music. Where's the friendship, huh? Why do we always correlate to something on the downside? And then whenever we break the correlation, it's because that thing we're meant to be correlating with is starting to go up. Remember gold? Remember Nasdaq? Remember literally everything? Oh, well. Maybe we are just cursed. We've got to break the curse. Blockchain Backer, friends, thinks that, and I'm not joking, Blockchain Backer believes stocks are going into a 30-year bear market. Not exaggeration. 20 to 30-year bear market, he said. But he's using the fractal of here, and he believes this is like the Great Depression right before the crash. And this is the Bitcoin chart. So he thinks stocks are going to have a big crash now. And then in the next 3 to 4 years, up to 2029, stocks are going to do a lower high. And this is going to be crypto's like final run before stocks go into a massive collapse for like, you know, 20 to 30 years. So, man, I'm sick of this doom bullshit. But I showed you at the beginning of this show, this very juicy show, I showed you the money debasement. Remember? They debase at 7.5% per year. Back in the Great Depression, we were on a gold standard. You could only debase as much as the gold money supply could increase. Okay, it's 2% per year. It's about 1.8 to 2% per year. Okay, so that's why when we had the deflationary burst in the Great Depression, there was no minting and debasing. Because you remember, friends, what debasement, what actually is money printing, what it actually is okay. See, you know, no one ever in crypto talks about this except me because it paints it in a good light. What debasement is, it goes, hey, everyone out there, you have a job. Okay, you're working, whatever, 5 days a week. Okay, more like 8 days a week now. But let's say you're working 5 days a week. You're working 40 hours, whatever, 5 days a week. Okay, there's been a big burst now. We have two options. We can let the market clear and see how you're working a job. Okay, 1 out of 5 of you are literally losing your job tomorrow. You're finished. 20% unemployment finished. 1 of you 5 losing your jobs. You will have to sell your houses. Everything is going turmoil. That's one path. And it's going to take anywhere from 3 to 10 years to clear the zone because you're going to be so psychologically damaged from ever investing ever again. That's option A. That's Great Depression, okay? Option B, we print money. If we print money, what actually happens is we're taxing you, right? So, you know, you get to keep your job, but you know your 5 days. Right now, your 5 days gets you, let's say your 5 days gets you, let's say when you work 5 days, if you really budget, let's say that gives you 20 days of living. Just give you an example. Let's say that 5 days of work gives you 20 days of living. Okay, after this money debasement, you'll only get like 14 days of living. Okay, but you still get your job. You get, so they've done it the inverse. It's just like, okay, instead of losing your job, now you just got to work longer to get that same purchasing power. So, but you have to choose one of both. Obviously, people say, oh, I don't want any of those worlds. Okay, but you can't get that. People like Peter Schiff will say, oh, we can get to that perfect world. The thing is, though, we got to wipe everybody out first. So we're not going to get that. You can't get that because that means everyone drops houses by 80 to 90%. And then you have a whole generation. That's what happened in the Great Depression, friends. In the Great Depression, that's actually one of the great ironies of it, what I always show you. In the Great Depression, everyone lost all their money. And it literally took an entire generation, like 15 years. See, look at these soup lines. This is everything we're talking about here. This is it right now. So it literally took 15 to 17 years for everyone who was in the Great Depression for their memories to finally be dwarfed by new people being born into the system. That's it, you know. So everybody like 25 to 40 in 15 years, guess what? Everybody who's like, you know, between ages back then 5 and 15 years of age, they were too young and in school. In the next 15 years, they are now 25 to 40 or 30 years old. And they're like, oh, I'm going to spend and everything. They go, oh yeah, my parents went through this hard time because you don't know anything better as a kid. But you see, that's just a whole generational wipeout. That's the alternative, okay? But that's why they're just going to break the system anyway and just move into something else. That's why they have a big Fugazi thing planned, I guess. We also have Mr. MVS Crypto saying, Tom Jeet. Thank you very much, friends, as well. We've got Jason Bourne saying we need more zeros. Just catching up on some chatteroonies. Mr. Kangaboo saying, take it off, take it off. We do have our nipple pegs here. Vicky 10,000X. Wow. We've got Chris 1,000X. Then we have a Vic 10,000X. The only question is, what is the next Doge? Very good question, sir. In the zombie virus, Doge was the best buy. No one said so. That's why, like, look, it would be the great fun irony in a stablecoin supercycle. The best play is to buy the unpegged stablecoin with no owner that got minted. That's why it would be the funniest. But being funny isn't a real strategy that you can rely on. Do you know what I mean? That we don't know. We've got VTX saying 3, 5, and 7 ice cubes. Parabolic, Sommi, would you rather DCA for another year for glory or walk through a dark alley with 5 angry trans Hitmonchans waiting? Choose, friend. Very good question, sir. Hitmonchans out here. We are DCA buying, friends. DCA buying is very psychological. You know, statistically, you make more money long run if you just go all in on the clip. The problem is, how much better than a DCA buy do you make? It's percentage points. But what you don't get is the psychological stamina to basically survive through all the times it goes down. We've also got Mr. Ninja Magoo asking for feet pics. I've got him right here, sir. We've got Race. You're the man, Sommi. Got a question. What do you think of Crypto Crew University Steve's second mega crash thesis? Very possible. Very possible. I want to show you something as well, just for something on Steve. You guys don't remember, but when we ran up for the Bitcoin spot ETF, which I'll actually show you the chart here. When we ran up for the Bitcoin spot ETF, okay, Steve was making like 20 warning signals here. He was making, the warning signals we were making him at 40K. He started at 40K, Bitcoin spot ETF. It was warning, warning. And then he would say, they're lying to you. They're saying Bitcoin 100K. Bitcoin's not hitting 100,000 for sure this cycle. Ah! And he kept saying it and saying it and saying it. Warning, warning, warning. And it was funny. I think when Bitcoin here was 65K, he kept making the warnings and then he stopped. I think he basically licking his wounds. Then I think when Bitcoin hit like 56K, do you remember Germany, the sexy German ladies coming out and dumping all over us? He made like I told you it's topped, I told you. But then he just went on pause hiatus again. And then the move up happened. And then all of his warning signal stuff, he started it again here. You know? So take from that for what you will, right? Look, there could be another double. There could be another leg down, man. It's markets. We have no idea. You know what I mean? Like they had a pedophilia island. Do you know what I mean? Like if a pedophilia island and the Department of Jelly Beans is defending pedophilies, we just, you know, anything can happen, right? Especially when it comes to these, we will be DCA buying, but we've seen a lot, man. We've seen like you got to remember. because I watch them all too with you. I watch them all too. And a lot, you realize that the ones at the top, okay, what they're really good is when there's big moves happening, they have a nice presentation of repeating this is my thesis, this is what I expected, and this is what played out. Tick, tick, tick. They do that. It's like I don't want to be mean, but it's true. It's like they're really good at gloating in their own way. They're really good at celebrating their own, but it depends what word you want, is celebrating their own achievement. You know, with me, I don't care. Like, oh, that was yesterday. Who cares? Yeah, because when you're trading or even when you're playing sport, you're only as good as your last game. We don't care. You know what I mean? Like imagine, would you like to play, let's say basketball. Let's say play basketball. Would you love to play with a person who every time they went bad, they just keep talking about, like, you know, 6 years ago, we won the grand final. I scored these, you know what I mean? You don't care about that. That was 6 years ago. In fact, it was like, I don't even care about yesterday. You know what I mean? So that's actually, they have a good skill set of that. You just don't know that. I don't notice that. It took me a long time to realize what are these people doing that other people aren't? And that's what it is. It's the gloating, right? Now, friends, we have BTC at $70,000, ETH at $2,000. Let's just see, friends. I got, you know, friends, I have massive PTSD. I always, before I price quote, I have to check the charts immediately because of what happened on the PTI conference, where we're like, hey, we are here for friendship. Oh, wait, the whole industry went to zero. So the PTI conference was exactly on October 10th, the Black Swan day. And I was literally, remember we were all talking in the panel. I remember looking at this. I'm like, oh, wait, we did go to zero. Literally, my brain was like, oh, we all got to get jobs now. 400 million of us. Okay, we actually did go to zero. There was such a surreal moment. My gosh. Now, friends, Tom Lee confirms. Tom Lee has confirmed he is a slain bull. He says stocks will crash another 20%. I made a breaking news video for you yesterday. This is Tom Lee out here. You can tell it's one of those scenes, friends. He's definitely not wearing any pants. He's probably got like the pink pelican theme or pink flamingo shorts underneath there. He's enjoying out in the sun. So he says stocks is going to crash another 20%. And he says crypto will crash hard at the end of this year. And it's kind of funny. He says it's going to feel like a crypto winter. Like, dude, what are you talking about, bro? Alt's been going down for 5 years. You're telling me after 6 years we'll be down. And you're saying, yeah, it's going to feel like a crypto winter. Of course it's going to feel like a crypto winter. Right? Of course, that'll be, by the way, that's 2 red yearly candles in a row for Bitcoin. If we get that, man, that's painful. Remember, Tom Lee is the final bull. He started changing at the end of last year, but then again, we did crash again. You know what I mean? But now he's actually, I'm surprised, he's actually maintaining his bearishness. Wow. He's the final bull. He's slain. Remember, we peaked in euphoria when we killed the final bear, Gary Gensler. He was the final bear. We fired him, Donald Trump, and then that was it. Hopefully, final bull's done. Every major crypto influencer was wrong about rate cuts causing a recession and a crypto crash. Remember, friends, I showed you that picture. Very important. That's why when we talk about any KOL friend, they all said rate cuts are bearish. All of them said rate cuts are bearish. You remember, you were here. Every day I was watching CCU Steve. I was watching Ben Copen. They're talking about the unemployment rate and the recession, and then everything's going to come. You know, and that's why these things have thrown people out. There's a bit of spanner in the works because everyone like knows the information. That's why, see, we all know about what happens now. So the only way to screw us, like, it has to throw something really left field. And I don't know what it would be, like left field. By the way, we could have topped out now. We just go down from here. I don't know. You know. Also, just to remind you, friends, it's a friendly reminder. But let's get the mod glasses on as well. Let's actually get the mod glasses. I don't want to say this, but we got to say this, okay? In traditional crypto cycles, okay, which we hope has broken, but in the past, we've only got one thing to go off. Altcoins and fun stuff doesn't happen until the US presidential election. That's it. Okay? That's around it. That would be the end of 2028 going into 2029. Now, we hope this time is different because, you know, we've had some massive red candles and stuff, but that's why mentally, I'm like, you know what? If you really, really, really want to screw us Black Swan style, that's where it is. But I hope that we get some upside surprise shock. That's what we want. And by the way, by me saying it to the universe, I really hope the retailers, they adopt that as well. They go, oh, that means I don't have to buy for 3 years. And we go, yes. That's exactly what we want them to think. The Kippy, friends. The Kippy came out at 2.4%. It remains low, which confirms Major Loser Powell is a scum deep state insider who is keeping rates too high. And I've written here, you should already know better than to trust a polymectician, especially a central banker. Red Pill SuperCycle. Very important that we understand this as well. This is the Kippy. The core Kippy even came out, friends. It's all flatline, 2.4. So if you want to know what's tight, what's loose, well, you look at the Fed fund rate, the interest rate versus the Kippy. Fed funds is like 3.75. The Kippy is 2.4. They are scamming us. That's what it is, okay? They are scamming us. So we also probably wonder, why are stocks and why is there even a debate? It's because, friends, AI is so deflationary. So you wonder, so you can't say this now, but why is AI going up? Well, so why is the stocks going up so much? It's pricing in something in the future. Like, it's pricing AI deflation, lower interest rates. It's pricing in job cuts, which means companies become more lean and their expenses are smaller. So that's why these things are floating up higher and higher. That's what it's actually pricing in. But you don't know that until way later on. You go, oh, that's what you were doing. It's almost like the Iran war stuff. That's why trying to trade off narratives, because you don't know the future. You don't know the future. That's why all the stock market sayings always just say buy low, sell high, right? Buy low, sell. They don't say predict the next narrative. Watch crypto banter for the next narrative. What's the real narrative going on? That's a Muppets game, right? Let's speak about Ponzi's, friends. Michael Chad Saylor raises his stretchy donut yield Ponzi up to 11.5%. And that's paid in US dollars, by the way. Man, friends, wait. Stretch is paying more yield in US dollars than Hex was paying in Hex yield. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Talk about unsustainable. I've got to tell you again, Hex's short-term yield, it was like 8%. And Richard was like, okay, that's too high. We've got to cut it. That's paying in Hex, though. This stretch yield is 11.5%. Wow. I've got to remind you as well, friends, Michael Saylor, look, this is the MicroStrategy stock, and I've got an up arrow because it's the most shorted stock in the world. What I'm feeling, and remember, friends, I'm a nutcase, okay? I'm peanut brain nutcase. What I'm feeling, though, is Michael Saylor's role in the story is a trap. It's a trap for Wall Street. It's a Venus flytrap. It gets everyone in, and somewhere down the line, he takes an offer he can't refuse. He borrows too much money. He buys too much. He gets access to too many funds. He makes the wrong move. And then something bad happens later on. Everyone loses. Maybe it's the 1929 100-year anniversary in 2029. Who knows? But so everyone loses. And then you have massive political will from the people. Because it's not you and me. It's everyone buying the top up there. Remember, friends, there's 600 million people in crypto. 600 or 700 million people. And a lot of them just have $1. Okay, so when we get to like 2.5 billion, you got to remember, they outnumber you and me 5-1. And they're not coming in with $6, by the way. They're putting in their life savings because it's more legit. See? So when they go down, they will be picketing. And they're saying, hey, we want Bitcoin banned. Oh, no, we want you regulate the crypto exchanges. Make Bitcoin no more proof of work. Make a proof of stake. It's like injecting it with basically poison and toxin. But that stuff can only happen in a crash. That's why I didn't want to talk about it too much, but I'm telling you, like, I've thought about this in 2022, and I was thinking this was it. This is going to be the cycle, which is scaring me because I'm always right about the event and then wrong about the price. But Michael Saylor's liquidation is $8,000. I hope we didn't get that, but if liquidation's $8,000 and it sits there for 3 to 4 years, that's why I think it's so absurdly low. Because we have more stable coins in the industry than the market cap you would be at Bitcoin $8,000. So we will see. Also, friends, as well. So according to Bitcoin Wrecking Ball, he might help push on Bitcoin government control. Because, friends, they actually do this. It's not conspiracy stuff. These things are set up to trap people, and they're used as useful things to basically damage people and then get political will. Central bank digital currency, CBDCs, may be the mark of the beast. Maybe the mark of the beast. I've got interesting stuff coming on that. Yeah, it might be. We'll see. MasterCard, friends, as well. This is big news. Stablecoin SuperCycle. MasterCard launched a program to connect blockchain payments with global banking. So there's 85 companies. There's Circle, there's Cripple, there's Binance, there's PayPal. Stablecoin SuperCycle confirmed. Remember, MasterCard and Visa, they know the writing's on the wall. They know crypto's way better rails, gets everything way cheaper. And speaking of that, friends, Liberty Swap from Pulse Chain Community is now launching a literally zero fee swapping of stablecoins. Zero fees. I don't know what the intention is, but if everything routes through Pulse Chain, that's going to be big. Somehow PTI slips into there. I don't know. I don't know how, but that sounds good to me. Okay, Stablecoin SuperCycle. Now, obviously, topical themes we have Iran, Trump. President Trump says oil companies should use the Strait of Hormuz. And we had earlier today, friends, Iran struck a Thailand ship attempting to pass through it. So they're probably delivering a hot ship of, I guess, ladyboys out there. Who made a shipment of that? Where are they being delivered to? We have President Trump preparing to invoke a Cold War era powers to boost oil production of Southern California. So I'm seeing, friends, retailer stuff. When I was watching Randy Boo, he's like, Trump's nervous. Trump's so nervous. Oh no, he's nervous. The oil's doing this and that. But then you got to remember as well, Rand long the oil before it's like ginormous drop. Do you remember, friends? So Randy Boo, he was long oil here. And then it literally did an amazing 26% drop in a straight line. So, you know, I'm not saying he's biased, but it could be because you're long. You're like, oh, see, he's really nervous. The oil's going to go up. Who the hell cares, bro? Oil can go suck a fat one. Iran is exporting more oil through the Strait of Hormuz than before the war. There we go. It's always this topical theme. Friends, it really is. I'm not joking. If you look through the lens of history, if you see one of those charts where they have labels of all the big events on the stock market S&P chart, if you actually live through them and read through them, you'll see, friends, I'm not joking, there really is this circle of FUD. All right? I saw it in crypto and Bitcoin. You have as well. There was Tether FUD. There was we're going to get banned. There was Binance. There's literally, I don't know, it's really weird. There's basically in our psychology or something, there's like this fear part. It's like this circle of fear. And it's basically just spin the wheel, whatever it lands on. And this is the thing, right? The wheel will be spun. It will land on something. Right now, we've got the quantum FUD. That's right. We've got a quantum. That was always been around there. So it's crazy. It happens in markets as well. Right? It's always like, oh no, recession. Oh no, oil spike. Oh no, fear. Oh no, they might then use the nukes. Oh no, it's the same stuff. It's never anything new. It's never like, oh crap, some monkeys have escaped the zoo and they're giving everybody some sort of disease. It's not anything from like one of the movies of the doomsday stuff. It's usually just the same rotational thing. Kind of crazy. $3.5 trillion Dollareedoonis Goldman Slugs says stocks could see an extreme rally. Don't believe him. I could have sworn, last week they said stocks were dropping. Maybe it was JP Mosquito. You can't trust them, by the way. Can't trust them at all. Nvidia, friends, said they're going to invest $2 billion Dollareedoonis into Nebius to build a hyperscale AI HPC data center. So AI data centers obviously are the brains of all the AI. Maybe that's where all the robot brains and chips are going to be hosted, etc. They sound cool and futuristic, but we didn't give a crap. You know what I mean? Oil's expensive. We just want some friendship on the horizon. We've been waiting a long time. We've got the PMI still ticking up. Still ticking up. The next PMI reading, friends, is at the first week of every month. So you've got to wait. But the Kippy's still low, man. It's just, man, it's wild. How's the Kippy low? It means it's pricing in AI. But this oil spike apparently is going to take a while. It takes 2 to 3 months. We also have, friends, US lawmakers introduce a Death Bets Act to ban prediction markets. So, they don't want you to bet on war, ass nations, or people dying. That's wild, man. That's wild. How do we live in a world if there are black market? You can't stop them doing that though. That's crazy. That's crazy, friends. You know what I just thought of? What if someone made black market bets where if you provide liquidity and someone pays out, they go, hey, is this person alive or dead in 1 year? So it's a black market prediction market for actual hitmen. And so if the hitman knows he's going to do the job, he buys a token and then he gets the payout. How do we even, wow, that's a crazy world in the future. It is kind of amazing as well, the absolute degenerate things that society is thinking of making, and we're spinning through all these cyclical things, and yet for some reason we still cannot catch a freaking bid in crypto, and we're waiting so far as well. In good news as well, friends, we have total RWA, real world assets. The on-chain market cap is growing. It's now 22 billion Dollareedoonis as well. So even in the face of Trump and some ships and then some Iran-themed oils and Strait of Hormuz right now, real world assets are still growing. It's got shares and property and all this other junk, but hopefully just allows everybody to access more rounds of capital. That's pretty much it. It's actually going parabolic. Remember, stablecoins are part of it as well, friends. Things going parabolic. Man, that's why we're on the right side, man. That's why it breaks my heart that we're actually going down here. I also want to catch up on some commentaroonies as well, friends. We've got everyone talking about orange juice, Mr. Hex Wizard, the Fire Horsey L. Yeah, man, it is it. Mr. Daniel Marks, Sommi, how many Pokemon cards will I need for the melt up? Yeah, friends, from 1999, $1,000 of Pokemon is now worth 5 million today. It's up 37% per year compounded. Yeah, man. But that's the great thing. Who would have spent $1,000 on that in 1999? You've never seen, you don't know what a chart is. There's no trading view. You can't even compare these. There's no Twitteroonies. There's nothing. You see? So the stuff that makes the absolute most sense is the stuff that works. That's what, that's the great irony of all of this. And if you want stuff with charts and patterns, you get your 10% per year, right? So that's kind of amazing to see. We've also got Mr. Jason Bourne saying we need more zeros. We've got Hex Wizard again. I'm tired of my stretched donut season. The wizard needs a pump. We all do. Where's the dopamine, man? We're the red pill solution. We are. We've got Ocean Malibu Club. Man, I love seeing all the cute little spoonies. Oh, by the way, yeah, so the spoonies, it levels up over time. You start off as a baby spoon. That's why I'm looking at it in chat. It looks so cute. And then you become a middle-sized spoon. And then I think after 6 months or something, like you level up, you glow green, which is awesome. So Orange Malibu, can you give some friendship tips on how to mentally prepare ourselves for not to trade our portfolio number? Don't look at it. I haven't looked at mine since September. You just reminded me I haven't looked at it in 6 months. Wow. You can't look at it. You can't. You cannot look at it. Don't look at it. I literally, it's tabbed on my Google Chrome, my browser. You don't look. It literally, you can't change it. You can't change it. So just so everyone out here, things that will kill you that you can't change: calculating your average price, calculating how much money you put in, thinking about your portfolio dollar at the top or the highest number you saw, and looking at it right now. Okay, these 4 things, they're like the 4 horsemen, the apocalypse, friends, the 4 horsemen of death and destruction and pestilence. You literally can't do anything about it, okay? That's why in my videos, I said there's actually only 2 things you can do right now. You can actually just click sell, leave, and walk away, or $10 Doonies coming in every week. That's it. That's what we're actually doing. We're going on the attack. That's why you could hold and just do nothing, but it's nice that we just throw in $10 Doonies. Friends, it's kind of funny. Some of you said, Sommi, I'll put in $10. Because, friends, I actually did it. Do you know how annoying it was, by the way? I had to go freaking transfer to the exchange. It's annoying. I was like, but I didn't want to do that. I put it off for so long. That's why everything in life, when I'm putting it off, it ended up being the right thing. For example, BitTensor Tau, ordinals. I was like, nah, I can't be bothered bridging and going there. Everything's going to be fine. No. The thing that I really don't want to do is DCA $10 Doonies into crypto every week. And it's like $3 Bitcoin, $3 ETH. You can choose some altcoins. Mr. Branimation as well. A $2 nibble for your weekly bite. Thank you very much. Thank you. It will be going in there. We will be holding up the market as well. Catching up as well, friends. Jerome is just a puppet. This is major loser pal. Still a major loser and not my pal. Exactly. He doesn't actually control the Fed. When I learned that, it's actually wild. Yeah. The US Feds are controlled by, it's random guys like the head of IBM. He's on the Fed board. Obviously, Jamie Dildo. But yeah, it's people you just don't know. That's why you learn more about evil. You don't know their names. They literally lurk in the shadows. That's why it's kind of interesting. They like showing evil how South Park depicts Satan, which I'll show you. Okay. You know how South Park depicts that it's interesting. It's interesting. Right? You never would have thought about this. So this is how South Park depicts Satan. Oh wow, it's got a scene of him next to Donald Trump, right? They like Satan looking big, red horns, big, powerful, alpha, strong. They like him, like big, strong, big, deep voice, but that's not actually how they operate and work. They operate more like an owl. An owl's cute, okay, hooty hoot, but they operate more like in the shadows as assassins. You don't know their name. You don't even see them coming. And they like play the long game of how to con as well. We've got MVS Crypto. So if we get back to sack price, let's play some Dota 2 for celebration. We will, sir. I believe we will. I just don't know about this year. Because it takes a while. You got to do the whole double big bottoming thing. It takes a few months as well. We've also got some comments on Tom Lee. Lazy boy, I want to be a granddaddy spoon. Yeah, I'll edit them over time. I want to make it nice and clean. Nice and clean. Hex Wizard again. Sommi, can you release Spoony? My 6-year-old's watching and loves it. Which is all we do. Thank you very much. We do have Spoony out here. It's funny. It's funny. Yeah. Remember, Spoony started off as it's cute because I've got all these weapons. I thought, I don't know why. I grabbed the spoon. I don't know why. It's just like a calling out here. Mr. Dung, would you rather get PsyOped or frame mogged? Everything's a PsyOp, so that's why I started to see why. Yeah, you just don't know what's real anymore. You don't know what's real. When you see the bets being placed in markets over time, it turns you into a red pillar. Because like, hey, how are you? Like, I'll just give you the granddaddy one, friend. The granddaddy is how the insiders were front-running the zombie virus right here. The insiders right there. This is it. They started, friends, look at this. Actually, they started front-running it March 2019. Isn't that wild? Exactly 12 months before the zombie virus actually happened. Exactly March 19, someone sent it negative. The yield curve, right? The 3-month to 10-year spread, right? And as you get to discover more, you realize this world just isn't what it seems, But then you can't have that black pill approach of like, oh, no one can win. We can't win. Friends, you ever wonder like who's actually losing? You know when people put on a political jersey? I'm on team red. I'm on team blue. I'm a this. Yeah, they lose. They're the one. Unfortunately, they lose. Do you want to know why? Because when their guy gets in, they happily think the next 3 to 4 years is going to be good, which means they don't want to overthrow the system. They don't like anarchy because they go, hey, our guy's in. Everything's good now. So what do they do with their actions? They defend the country, they defend their currency, and they keep working for it, right? They don't ask questions. Hey, if things broken, this guy's going to lie to me. See? That's why whenever you see someone out here picket fencing, oh, taxes should be up or down, I'm fighting for this, I'm fighting for the Medicare stuff, they're the actual people losing. It's them. It's them. Because they swallow the hopium. And they really do. They think, oh, things are about to get better. Yeah, and they keep holding something. They just keep minting more of and debasing everyone. So, friends, we have to think about where are we going to from here as well. BTC in the price action. We've got that CME gap at 81,000 American dollars. This is where we are hanging right now. This is us right now. If we have another stabberoonie down and it's game over, then let it be game over. But there is a nice CME gap right here. Actually, CME gap right there. And we are moving along this here. If I could tell you just anything, remember, friends, Portfolio number, don't even look at it. I haven't checked it in 6 months. I don't care. Okay, we actually think about what you can do right now. You can buy $10 Dollareedoonis every week, or you can, that's why I made the number so low. Because it's so low, everyone's like, you know, it's so low you can't argue with it. You're like, yeah, I can throw that in. Okay. And it's not about, oh, I put a big amount or whatever. It's not about that. Or you could just click sell and leave. You know, but remember, most people are clicking selling and leave. They're clicking sell and leave. Where are they going? AI stocks, gold, silver, oil. You know, the generational curses. Maybe some Pokemon cards as well. So I know it's been a very, very long stretch. Hopefully this donut doesn't get stretched any further. You and I are still here to make events. This is what we're looking at right here. If we do go lower, I'm going to have my bids there. I love every single one of you. Like, subscribe. Catch you in the next one.